Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and I'm excited to see all of you from all over the United States and all over the world coming in to our lunchtime live. Or what did you call it, Tom?
Crafternoon.
Crafternoon. I hope you guys can hear Tom okay. I hope you can hear me okay. We are excited to be here today with you, and I am going to do something that I haven't done for a while, and that is play with some white pigment ink. Now, I saw a thread started in our Facebook group, and people were asking about pigment ink and how it compares to white embossing powder. Pigment ink is more subtle than white embossing powder, that's for sure, but it gives a really interesting look. It's beautiful for snowflake backgrounds. Yes, you can use it through stencils. You can use it with a blending brush. I would just keep a blending brush set aside just for the pigment ink. You don't want to kind of cross-contaminate inks between pigment and dye inks, but it is a beautiful, subtle look. And people were asking in one of the other groups I'm part of, what's a really bright white ink? And honestly, I think our ink is probably one of the brightest whites that you can find in a pigment ink. But pigment ink in general is never going to be as bright as white embossing powder. So, you know, if you see something done in white and it's bright, bright white, chances are it's embossed. If you see something that has a nice white look to it, but it's a little bit more subdued, it's probably pigment ink. And we're going to show you how that all works today. Now, I'm going to be using the large Wreath Builder templates, and I'm going to be using the new Master Layouts 8, which is the 5x7, because I thought I would do a big card for this. And I'm going to stamp some poinsettias in white today. So that's a little different too. And I think it's a really pretty subtle look. All right. Well, welcome, everyone. I see lots of people jumping in here. Hope you're enjoying your lunch. Hope you have something, maybe if it's still early where you are, you have a nice cup of coffee and you're settled in and relaxed. Okay. So I'm going to be doing this whole card using Kraft ink today. So let me get that Kraft ink in my MISTI here. Let me pull this down just a bit so you guys can see it okay. All right. So I have a piece of Kraft cardstock. Sorry, my hair is shedding. A piece of Kraft cardstock here in my MISTI. Now, when I use pigment ink, depending on whether I want it very subtle or I want it brighter, I will use 1 or 2 layers of pigment ink. So I think for this, I might do 2 layers, and that's why I'm going to stamp this poinsettia in my MISTI. So I'm going to start with the largest one, and that's going to give us the white petals. That's this one here. And again, I've put a little dot on each of my stamps so I can kind of see where they line up together, like what petal, what area goes to. And they're on this sheet in the right position. So if you add that little dot to the same spot on all of your stamps, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time lining them up. All right, so I'm going to do a couple poinsettias here, but I'm going to start with one just to see what the ink looks like. And I'm going to do one at a time because I don't want the white ink to dry too much when I use step 2, which is going to be the Kraft ink. So I am going to get my Kraft ink image, which is the second part of the poinsettia. I'm going to get that ready to go on a block. And then I'm going to get the smaller image, this one here, ready to go on a block, just so I can stamp them kind of like 1, 2, 3, and then start over for the next one. So I hope that makes sense. So you can see I kind of put those black dots in the same spot on the block. I still am going to have to turn it a little bit just to get the right position. But it's pretty easy to see. And again, it just takes a little bit of practice. Don't be afraid to practice stamping something like this. It's just a piece of cardstock. You know, maybe do it on cheap cardstock with colored ink until you get the hang of it, and then break out your good cardstock. All right, you can even use copy paper to practice on. Oh, give me a second. I just dropped my magnet here. Okay, so I'm going to start with some pigment ink here, and I'm going to ink up this stamp with the pigment ink. Now, I really want to get it nice and inky, so I'm going to just really layer the ink on there till it looks real solid white. And then I'm going to stamp it. Now, you can use your Chucky tool if you have one. If you don't have one and you want to make one, there's lots of inspiration in our Facebook group. My friend Chuck made this for me out of a furniture curtain finial and a furniture protector pad. You can also use an air hockey pad if you want, an air hockey paddle. You can use a dry eraser, something like that. All right, I'm going to do a second coat of ink here because I really want to get that nice and solid. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. And I'm going to do one more coat because I really want it bright. Okay. Now, I'm going to go with my second stamp, and I'm going to figure out where that goes, and then I'm going to stamp that in Kraft ink. So I'm actually going to be adding some color onto this. Okay, get the Kraft ink in there. That looks pretty good. There we go. So you see how that kind of pulled some of the ink off? You are going to want to clean that stamp in between uses so that you don't get that white pigment ink back onto your Kraft pad. And I use my tidy towel and I just wash it. It's totally fine to use your tidy towel for that. Now I'm going to use my second layer here. Once again, I'm going for Kraft ink. There we go. So now I've got my second layer on there. What did I put the dart on stamps?
What did you use to put the dot on?
Oh, the dot. Oh, what did I use to put the dot? Okay, I used a Sharpie, just a plain old Sharpie. I'm going to also clean this just so it doesn't dry on there. And again, you know, I'll have to clean up my tidy towel later, but that's totally fine. Now I'm going to do my last layer. And that is this layer right here, the veins. And I'm going to use a much darker ink for that. Get a bigger block for this.
Michelle asked if the poinsettia kit is still available.
It is still available, yes. We're very limited on it because we do have a new release coming up. And so we're not going to order any more kits. We will have the stamps available separately, but the kit is the best value ever. So I'm going to use charcoal brown for these veins, and that's really going to make everything come together. Okay, let's see here. That looks right there. I'm going to move this down just so that the block doesn't hit the top of the Misty. Okay. There's the charcoal brown. Doesn't that just make all the difference? Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of black. So I need another tiny block. Let me see what I have in here. I have an old block that I can use. I'll just use this little block. This was before we got our comfort blocks. And then I'm going to use black ink for the centers here.
And our release date?
Release date has been scheduled for November 1st. Still waiting for parts for our kit. Okay, so there is the first poinsettia. Isn't that pretty? Just very soft and subtle. All right, let's do another one. We'll flip this over. So I'm going to put this stamp here again. Now, if you don't, let's do one. I'll just show you what one looks like just stamped as a single stamp without all the layering of the white. I seem to get better results when I actually stamp it with a block and I only do one pass. And maybe that's because I put a little extra pressure in the center somehow. I don't know. But let's try it this way. I'm going to move this down. Okay. There we go. See how nice and white that ink is? For pigment ink, that's pretty white. Okay. All right, and now let's go to the next step. Look at my blocks. I use a little stamp cleaner or a little bit of soap and water on my blocks to clean them afterwards, and that's totally fine to do. Okay, now I'm going to use stamp 2 with some Kraft ink right there. There we go, step 2. And step 3 with some Kraft ink. Right in there. There we go. And then the veins once again in the charcoal brown. Yeah, my block is pretty inky right now. There we go. And we'll add the little black dots. I don't even think I closed my black ink pad here. There we go. So now we have 2. I don't know that there's too much of a difference. These petals do look a little whiter. Yes. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do 2 more. I actually kind of like the lighter one better. I don't know if you guys do or not, but I like the subtleness of that one. So I'm going to do 2 more like that. So I really don't need the Misty for this, and I can stamp them both at the same time. So let's do 2 more like that. If I have an extra stamp set, I can show you how I mark it. I'll have to see if we have any left, any extras left, like any sample sets. But all I do is I'll show you here. I just lift the sheet up and then I pull the stamp away and put a black dot on it. And then I do the same thing, pull the stamp away and put a black dot on it, pull the stamp away like that, put a black dot on it, all in the same spot. And then once they're all marked, those black dots don't go away unless you use something like stamp cleaner on them or alcohol. Okay, so we're going to do 2 of these.
Is the white ink self-leveling?
Is it self-leveling? I'm not sure what that means. Do you mean like, does it smooth out like our other ink? It's definitely, I'll flip this around. It's definitely a very smooth ink.
Yeah, I've never heard that term with
ink?
Crafting ink.
Yeah. No, I haven't either, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It probably is something that we just aren't aware of. I can look that up and see if there's some information on that I can find out and let you know, but it definitely smooths out. Okay, so I'm going to start up here using not charcoal brown. I'm using Kraft ink. Definitely dries fairly quickly for a pigment ink, that's for sure. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over because I have to clean the stamp and get it in the right position again. All right. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go for layer 3, which is this small one. Again, with the same color, that Kraft ink. I'll flip it. There we go. And now I'm going to add all the veins. And the veins, I can put on this block. I'm going to do those with black onyx. Flip it. Once you get the hang of this stamp set, it is really easy to line up. Super easy. And then we'll add those little black dots, and we'll have 3 poinsettias here. Okay, so I'm going to use the lighter one over here and these 2. All right. I like those. They're just different. And of course, you guys know I did that grayscale one, so that was super different too. And that was mixed reviews. Some people liked the grayscale, some people not so much, but I really loved it. And I loved just playing with that color palette. I thought it was really striking and fun to do. So don't be afraid to go outside of what, you know, what nature does with flowers and try your own color combinations because it's really fun. All right, so I'm just cleaning these up and getting them back on the sheet. And then we're going to start our wreath. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. I know this doesn't seem very enjoyable watching me put these on wrong. All right. I'll just get them on there and I'll figure it out later. Okay, so now I'm going to put this black onyx away, charcoal brown away, and Kraft away. Now we're going to use the smallest of the 3 wreath builders of this large set of wreath builders. The smallest one measures 4 3/4 inches. And I'm going to show you a little trick here because we are going to stamp this on the Master Layouts 8 panel. So first thing I'm going to do is just get this wreath builder template lined up in my MISTI. And I'm going to use a little bit of tape here. Right here. So regarding like when things are going to be back in stock, Tom and I really don't know the answer to any of that because there's so many shipping issues right now. And also, you know, we just don't have dates off the top of our head. So I'm sorry if we can't help you with that, but you can always contact customer service. The best thing to do, though, if you want something, is to make sure you join the wait list on our website. Because joining the wait list, as soon as that product goes in stock, you're going to get an email right away. Like the minute it goes in, the emails go right out, and you will get that email, and you'll be able to order it before anybody even realizes it's back in stock. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for a minute. And I'm going to grab my die cutting machine. So what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to cut this this stitched panel. This is from the Master Layouts 8. That's a huge die right there, just huge. I'm going to cut this out. Let me back up a bit too. I know some of you watch on your big screen and this die cutting machine is like a car. All right. I'm going to cut this out in white. So let me get a piece of white cardstock. Sorry, it's all the way across the room. And I'm just letting my poinsettias dry right now. You can heat set them if you're in a hurry, but they'll dry while we're doing the rest of this card. So now I'm going to cut this out using the Master Layouts 8. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, it's wonderful if you give this video a thumbs up. And also, it's so nice if you'd like to subscribe. That'd be great. Then you won't miss another video. You'll always get notifications from me. I post other stuff on YouTube too. I use my community tab a lot and I do things in my stories. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to cut a square template that's going to fit inside of this. So remember, this template that I have in here is the one that's 4 3/4 inch square. And the reason I'm going to do this is because this piece of cardstock does not fit in the template. See that? It's just the wrong size. It doesn't fit. So we're going to fix that by cutting a 4 3/4 inch piece of cardstock, 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So we've got that square. Okay. Now this is the perfect size for the large wreath builder template for this one that I'm using. See, that fits right in there. Okay. So now here's the little hack. What we're going to do is we're going to take this, and I showed you this in the mini wreath builder video not that long ago, but we're going to adhere this to this piece of cardstock just making sure that our borders look fairly even going around. The purple tape that I'm using is not purple tape. It's just some washi tape that I had, and it happens to be purple. So yeah, this is the normal purple tape that I normally use. This is just washi tape. So you can use washi tape, you can use purple tape, you can use whatever you want to tape down your wreath builder template. Okay, so I put a little bit of dot adhesive back there, and now I'm going to mount this so that my borders look fairly even. I think that looks pretty good. There we go. I kind of look down here to make sure it looks even too. You know, does it look kind of even around? And it does. You just want to get it pretty close to even. Okay, so now I'm going to load this into my wreath builder template like this. Okay. Now, there's a couple different ways that I could do this. I think what I want to do is I actually want to use Kraft cardstock. I know I put this all together, but I think I'm going to use a piece of Kraft cardstock. So sorry about that. Again, I'm going live, so it's I never decide what I want to do really until I'm actually doing it. So I'm going to cut one more of those Master Layouts 8s because I think this would be a lot prettier if the whole thing was Kraft and then we just had some white accents. So let's do that. We'll cut one more of these and then we'll mount that the same exact way. It's good that I did it in white first though, because it is a little easier to see in white. And this only takes a second to cut. Okay. And it's a lunchtime live, so we're like just friends crafting together through our lunch hour. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again. A little bit of tape back here. And then I'm going to put this on there. Yeah, it is easier to see in white. Put this on here so that it looks fairly even going around the perimeter. I think that looks pretty good. Yes. Okay, so now, because I want to stamp with the white ink. You're not going to see white on white, that's for sure. So I'm popping that into the Wreath Builder template. I don't care that it hangs out the bottom. No big deal at all. Let's back this up just a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to use some of these twiggy images here. So I'll start with, let's start with this pine one. I'll put that right there. Maybe I'll do it off to the side a little bit like that. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp that with white pigment ink. So this is definitely going to get messy. Now, if it's easier for you, you can always use a white ink cube. And I've got one right here. So sometimes with the Wreath Builder, it's just easier to stamp with a cube. Okay. Now, I like, when I'm doing a spray, I like to keep my Misty in this position because I can see it better. Kind of the top and the bottom. Okay. So there's one. Now I'm going to turn it to this side. And I'm going to ink that up again. No, I think I'm going to use the other image. Let's do this first. Okay, so we've got this. Let's flip it upside down. I need another piece. Oh my goodness, let me cut another piece real quick. We'll cut a blue one this time because it's right here. We'll cut this 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 because I want to do a full spray. I was going to do a round wreath and cut it, but I think the spray is perfect for these big cards. So let's stick with the spray idea. And this is easy to do. All you have to do is put a little bit of tape there and just line it up on the sides. I know that's dark. There we go. Okay, so now you've got kind of the border around the whole thing. Now I'm going to do the same stamp on the opposite side. I want to mix these stamps up a little bit because they're big images. They're perfect for this kind of card though, especially this template. And I know a lot of people, that's where it goes. That's how I started, right? I started here. So when you do the other side, you got to flip it over in the same exact spot. There we go. I know a lot of people are really enjoying these bigger cards. My magnet was in the way. Okay. So now I've got a top and a bottom here. I'm going to clean that stamp and get it out of here. There we go. And for cleaning your tidy towels, I don't know about you guys, but I just throw them in my washing machine. It's super easy to do. Okay. So now I'm going to put this one here. Like that. Let's change the position of this because this wreath builder is big. So let's change the position and we'll work it this way. I think it'll be easier because I'll always be on the Misty. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. I love this stamp so much. I really feel like this would be very pretty if I added like a red to it or a little turquoise. But I'm going to stick with the white theme since that's what I committed to. But I think these would be really pretty. Even if you had like a little glitter pen and you just added a little bit of red glitter on the edges of the berries here, that would be so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. I love the twig-like image. Okay. Clean that stamp off. So yeah, I just throw all my tidy towels in the washer, not in the dryer. You don't want to throw them in the dryer, that's for sure. Okay, should we do the same image over here? Or should we try this other one? This one. Let's do this one because this is going in the other direction. I think it'll be really pretty. So you can see I'm just mimicking on the bottom what I do at the top just by flipping it upside down. Yes, we had to move our release from next week to the week after due to just worker shortages, and it's been difficult to get things shipped. It's been kind of crazy out there. Oh, that looks pretty. I like those two together. Okay. So now let's see what else we have on here. So you can add some other types of things here. You see this design right here? This is meant to go inside this leaf, but by itself, it's actually a very cool little stick. So let's use it as a little stick. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to stamp that in like a kind of a soft, like warm cocoa would be really pretty. Let me see if I have a warm cocoa ink cube. I do. So add just that little stick in there in a different color, but it's not too dark. Oh, I like that. See what I just did? I pulled it off my wreath builder. Now, if you ever do that, don't panic. You didn't ruin it. All you have to do is just lay it back on top of where you just had it and pick it up again. And then it's ready to flip over to the other side. So if you ever pull anything off by accident, I do it all the time. I'm just like, wait, I'm not done. think I'll do one more over here like that. And I will flip it upside down. See, I didn't take it off that time. I learned my lesson. I like that little bit of brown in there though. Kind of look nice with the veins too. Okay, let's use the other one to have a couple going in the opposite direction. And this one's a little bit smaller. We can pull it out just a little bit more here. And we could do this one in the same color that we did the veins of the poinsettias, which is charcoal brown. That's a much darker brown, but that will work. That's dark chocolate. Do I have charcoal brown in the ink cube? I do. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I was pleasantly surprised when I did the gray card, the grayscale one, how pretty the veins of the poinsettias looked just kind of going outside of that smaller poinsettia image. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, we'll add one more here just to make it look even. Same color. I'll do the same thing on this side. So if you're new to Gina K Designs and you're new to our lives, just make sure you leave a comment somewhere along the way, because we're going to pick one winner that's going to win this card. Maybe you're looking at it right now and going, I don't know if I want to win it, but I think you'll like it when it's done. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a spray going there. I'm going to pull this off gently. I love the white. It's so, this is just such a soft kind of got like a little bit of a country feel to it. Folk art kind of feel. And you can see now these are all drying, very similar in color to what happened over here. Okay. So now I'm going to look at a couple circles here. So this circle, that will cover some of those. That's kind of big, but I do kind of need something big because I've got 3 poinsettias here, but I might not use them all. So I'm trying to decide. I think that will work because we still want to have a greeting. And even if we don't use all the poinsettias, that's okay. We don't have to. We can use 1 or 2. We don't have to use all of them. I can definitely use them for something else. Okay. So now let's do a little bit of die cutting and see what happens. Okay. Now I'm going to die cut the larger rectangle, and I'm going to use a brown. I know everybody's like fainting because the last couple of cards I didn't use black. I've been using brown. So I'm going to use, I don't have any charcoal brown, and every time I get off of the live, I think I got to go get charcoal brown. I need it, and I always forget. So I'm going to use our chocolate truffle, which is a color that coordinates with our chocolate truffle amalgam ink, but it still will be very pretty as a border. We've got a couple different browns in here anyway, so I think it'll be fine. Diane, that's okay. We're glad to have you here, even if you're late. We love having everybody here. Okay, so that's going to go together like that. See, I think that's going to be fine. You're not going to really notice that that's a huge difference in color, brown-wise. Okay. So I'm going to get a little bit of tape here on the back and tape this down. Now, what do we do here? Do we go with white? I think white, a white circle might be too bright. What do you guys think? Here's a piece of white cardstock. Do you think the white cardstock will be too bright in the center? I think so. So I think maybe, should we use Sandy Beach? Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to say no right off the bat here, though, because I don't think we're going to like it. Hey, you know what? I don't even have it. So let's go with white. I expect Steven to run down and put Sandy Beach under the door. So let's go with a little white. Actually, our stamped image will look better if we use white. So let's cut this circle out. This is all from Master Layouts 8. I know it's bright, Luann, but we're going to go with it. Okay. I think it will be okay. Because we are going to put this all on a white card base. So here's the card base that we're going to use. So I think it's going to work. Okay. I would use ivory, but this is not ivory ink, and I think that might clash. It's still soft white. It's different than the ivory. The ivory has that little bit of yellow in it. I just think it might clash. So let's go with this next size up circle, and we will cut that out in the chocolate truffle. Okay. We can also add some details with a bright white gel pen, which might be fun. It's scary, but fun. All right, there we go. So I've got these circles together. And this is going to be my, my greeting panel too. I'm going to just put this aside. We could do a little banner too. It comes with a little banner die in this set to go across, which would be really pretty. You could do that going across like that. Maybe. I think if we did something that went across like that, I would want to do it wood grained. So shall we? Because it's so folk arty looking, and I feel like it would be just perfect for wood graining. So let's add a little bit here of wood grain to it. Why not? We'll use warm cocoa. We'll use Kraft first, and then we'll add a little warm cocoa to it. I love the ruggedness of this. And then where's my warm cocoa? I have the ink cube up, but I think I'll put the full-size pad for a little bit more. I like getting those little lines in there. So messy and fun. Okay. Let's cut that out. Let's see what it looks like. Not much of this is going to show, so we'll see if it's even worth it. But I'm going to cut it anyway. And I think, let's see. There we go. I know you guys can't see the bottom there. Sorry about that. We also have to cut our poinsettias out still. It is pretty easy, Peggy, to wood grain. Sometimes it you might look at it and go, oh, I don't know, it doesn't look so much like wood, but then you get it all mixed in with the card and it looks good. Okay. So let's even make this more rustic. Let me find a brown brush here. I'm going to use, again, some of this warm cocoa ink, and I'm just going to edge it a little bit. Ooh, you know what would be nice to edge this with? I'm not going to stop, but I'm going to... shaking all over the place. Let me get dark chocolate. All my browns. I'm using every brown I have here. I'm in that kind of mood. I'm going to use that same brush, and I'm going to just make it look more rustic around the edge. Remember we used to do this with sponges and stuff years ago? Where's all my old-fashioned stampers out there? I know you're out there. Used to do this. I used to do it all the time. Used to use like a beauty blender sponge, some kind of yellowy sponge. Get some of the white out of that. There we go. It's nice. Okay. Let's just see what it looks like. And you won't even see that, most of it, because this is going to cover it with the greeting and the poinsettia. Do we like that? It's kind of nice. Not sure. I'm waiting to see what you guys think. It might look better if I have this white card base out too. Okay, so I'm getting some likes here for it. So this is a piece of cardstock that I cut 10 inches by 7 inches. And I'm going to score it at 5 inches because this is a big 5x7 card. So I just want to see what it looks like on the card base, because a lot of times that makes all the difference. It looks really weird, and then you get it on that card base with the nice white border, and then it really looks pretty. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you like that little bit? Or is that just the wrong color? Should we just get rid of it? Let's see what it looks like without it. Okay, I'm seeing some people like the panel. Some people like it without the panel. Some people say the banner's too much because it's a delicate card. All right. Okay. Yes, Kathy, I see you screaming no white at me. But I love the white. Okay. All right, you want to see it one more time back? Maybe it's just the wrong color because I used dark chocolate instead of like charcoal brown. And this is all a little bit grayer in my opinion. So, well, we can decide right at the very end because, again, the poinsettias are going to cover a lot of this. So let's get our greeting on here. Let's pick a greeting. So do we want this to be a Happy Holidays card, or do we want this to be a Merry Christmas card? We used the Merry Christmas. Let's use it again. And let's stamp it this time in charcoal brown. All right, I'm going to get a different block for this. A big block like that. Okay, now I always panic when I'm stamping a greeting freehand, especially on a shape, but you have to remember that this is a circle, so if it's a little crooked, you just have to turn it and it will be straight. It's very hard to stamp crooked on a circle. Okay, almost dropped it. Merry Christmas. There we go. Wishing the best here. Oh, yes. Okay. And then we'll do these two layers together. I love how you guys are jumping in and helping out. Let's see here. Sorry, my head might be in the way. There we go. Okay. I'm thinking I maybe made this a little bit too pinkish. So the only thing that might help is getting some white in there. We could try that. Kind of adding a little bit of white. But see, I just think by putting that dark chocolate in there, I was so aggressive with it. And I don't know. It does change a little bit with that white. It does look more like wood that way. But we'll put it aside. And we will cut the poinsettias out. And then we'll get it all laid out. And I'm going to add some white gel pen to these poinsettias to make them pop a little bit more. So let's cut these out together. Now, I made a little template. And you guys have seen me do this before. If you're new to my channel, I do this a lot, especially when it comes to cutting out flowers like this. I really... it's hard. Like I could put that on there like that, and then it could shift a little bit and the edges won't look consistent. So what I've done was I've created a little template so I can make sure that the edges are all even like that. And then I'll take a little bit of tape. This is my purple washi tape. I shouldn't have bought purple washi tape because that's confusing to everybody. But I'm just going to pop that in place like that. Then you can see all the edges are even. Now I can pop my die in there. And when I feel it click into place, I know it's going to cut in the right spot. So let's hope it does. And if you're nervous, which I'm a little nervous because I probably should have taped it down, but I think it's going to be okay. You can see the template's still in place. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. See how nice and smooth that edge is? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to flip this around. I know that it should be pretty easy to line this up. Yeah, not every card is the best card, but they're fun to make and they're fun to try different color combinations. And I just like this one. I like this woodsiness about it. I'm trying to think of the style that I think of when I think of this. I just think of like folk art type of art where it's real rustic. So there we go. And these are all dry. That white ink dried on there. It's very soft because I only did the one coat on those. The one that I did more than one coat is still a little bit brighter, but I went for the subtle. Oh, goodness. I don't even know where I put this one. I think right there. Does that look right? Yeah, that looks pretty right. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll pop that into place. And I didn't do any green leaves on these. I don't know if I told you, but somebody had commented on one of the videos, and I didn't know this, and maybe you guys knew it. I didn't. That poinsettias, like the whole thing is leaves. Like all the stuff that you see that we normally stamp in red and colors, that's all the leaves. And the little thing in the center with the dots, that's actually the flower. I had no idea. I thought the whole, red parts were flowers and green parts were leaves, but I guess it's all leaves and they're just different color leaves. So that was kind of an interesting lesson for me. Yeah, I think this is bothering me. I'm probably not gonna use it. So let's get this panel onto the card. I like the rustic spray around the outside. I really like that. And then this would go in the center here. We'll see if we need more than one poinsettia. We might only need one poinsettia. Yeah, I think we only need one poinsettia. Let's pick the best one, the one that's cut out the best, because I'm sending this to somebody. I want it to be the best one. Okay, we'll put this one right on the card like that, and we'll pop it up. And then we're going to add white dots onto that. So we'll get this taped right down. I know it would look nice. I'll try it. I'll just lay this here and we can look at it. Okay, and I'll gently lay that down so it's not stuck. Maybe it does look nice like that. What do you guys think? Do you like that better? What are they saying, Tom? Do they like that panel going across, or is it too reddish brown?
A lot of love.
A lot of people like it? No? I feel like it needs something, though, there. No banner. No banner at all. Just this. Okay. A lot of people said no banner, so I'm going no banner. And I'm going to pop this poinsettia up. And then I've got to find the right position for it. I guess like that. I want the dots higher though. I think I'll put it like that. Okay, but it's going to get popped up. So I'm going to use some foam squares for it. And some people love the banner. Oh, I'm so confused, you guys. We need to discuss a voting plan. We got to figure out voting. So I know exactly. I wonder if can we do polls on this software, Tom?
Good question.
We got to figure that out because that would be really cool. People could play along and we could take a poll. Okay, now let me get my gel pen. Excuse my head in the way. Gel pen doesn't want to write. Do I have more than one gel pen? My gel pen is dead. Well, I have another gel pen, I think. Let me see if I do. You should never only have one gel pen.
What about a vellum banner?
Oh, a vellum banner. That would have been great. Why didn't I see that comment earlier?
It just started coming in,
Oh.
as far as I can see.
So I'm going over these dots with white to pull out some of the white in the center. Let me zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully. Yeah, vellum would have been great. Didn't think of that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white onto these. Like that. See, we're bringing in some of that white now. That helps a little bit. We'll add some to this too. We'll make our own berries on this. See, we needed to do something to tie in some of that, this white. I like adding this. The gel pen that I'm using, if anybody wants to know, is the Signo Uniball. It's my favorite one. That brings it together. It makes it actually look more wintry too, doesn't it? Having these little white dots. I'll just add them right here. Okay. So doesn't that just change it up a little bit? And it makes the white okay because now you've got white going on in the rest of it. We can accent these a little bit more too if we want to make them even whiter. There we go. I'm just dabbing it on there to kind of brighten it up even more. And now I have some extra poinsettias that I can use for other things. Yeah, I think a vellum border would have been pretty. We could probably still put it in there. I don't know. Let's look at it anyway, and then we'll pick a winner. So we can peek it and see what it would look like, what it would have looked like. Let me just grab a piece of vellum here. I've got a whole pack of it unopened, and I always forget I have vellum. We can even make this really small, like maybe just a 2-inch little piece here. First, I'll cut it in half because it'll be easier to cut. So I'll cut it in half. We can look and just see what it would have looked like. And we'll just make this banner like maybe an inch and a quarter wide. Maybe bigger than that. Let's go with 2 inches. Or an inch and a half. Inch and a half. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just, let me take this down to 6 inches. Then I'm just going to cut it down to like 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll do another 3/4 of an inch. And we could see what that would have looked like. I don't know if that's big enough, but this is what it would have looked like had we done a banner. A vellum. See, this is the cheater's banner, right? You just slip it in there after the fact and go, yeah, it needed something. So we're just going to do that. Go up a little bit more. Yeah, that would have been very pretty. Would have been really pretty to emboss it too, right? Maybe like with a Swiss dot or something. Made it a little crunchy. All right. Well, there we go. We can always tuck that in there underneath. And if we did the full banner, we could have hid the tape underneath the circle. So that is something that maybe I'll do. Maybe I'll gently pry this up and add some vellum under there. Okay. Well, Tom, who wins this card? Oh, here you are. Hey, you're wearing the hat.
Yeah, baby.
Love the hat.
All right, so we need a winner.
We do need a winner.
Wonderful card.
Thank you.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. I'm still working over here.
Okay, is the card finished? Should we wait till it's finished to give it away?
No, wait till it's finished. I'm still messing with it.
All right, it's here for you if you want it. Shanno Bettis. Shannon. Bettis. Shannon.
Woohoo! Shannon, congratulations. That's the size right there. All right, flip it under there. See if I can. Congratulations, Shannon. Woohoo! You win this card. All you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com and tell us that you won the white and Kraft poinsettia card, and we will get that out to you right away. All right, everybody. Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's Stampin' Chat Live, and I hope you'll give this technique a try. I'd love to see you do a real soft, subtle card using some pigment ink, or even if you don't want to use pigment ink, just doing kind of like a subtle design using soft colors. Maybe you'll try that gray one that I did the other day, or maybe you'll try this one. All right. Well, later this week, I'm going to do my best to get up another 5-minute card video. They've been going pretty well. People have liked them. So if you didn't know that I do that, I've been doing 5-minute card videos. And there's a whole playlist on my YouTube channel. We have about 5 or 6 of them up now. I think 5 of them up now. And they're fun. They're cards that take 5 minutes. There's a little technique in each one, and it's something fun to do. So I'm going to try to get another one of those up for you this week. We'll be back on Monday night with another fun card project. And from all of us here at Gina K Designs, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much. And mwah, we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.